Good evening. My name is John Winstead. I'm the Director of Fire and Health Services here at Nash Community College, and I'd like to start out by thanking you for joining us tonight. At this time, I'd like to ask everyone to turn off any sort of cell phones or pages or anything like that, any sort of noise-making devices, so that we can pay these individuals the respect they deserve. Thank you. At this time, I'd like to ask everyone to stand. Class 021316. Report. Please remain standing and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing as I invite Dr. Keith Smith to lead us in our invocation.
Good evening. Let us pray. The same spirit that can allow you to walk through the fire and not be burned is the same spirit I ask to invoke his presence among this ceremony as we celebrate this occasion for the Fire Trainers Academy Class 02-1516, and to bless those who had a hand in making this night occur. The Nash Community College administration, the instructors, the parents, the relatives, and friends. This is my petition. In his name, I surrender this request. Amen. You may be seated.
Thank you, Dr. Smith, for those kind words. Thank you, John, for getting our ceremony started. And thank you to Rocky Mount for lending the color guard presentation of colors. Nash Community College's part in this is, it is often when I come up and talk about welcoming people to the campus, which is what college presidents do. But I'm so proud of the partnership that we have in our community to make this event possible. When I heard the national anthem, as I've heard it quite often in the last couple of weeks, watching the Olympics, they hand out gold medals and put the flag up. And tonight we have our flag present because we're celebrating completion and accomplishment just like they are. And we see on the news that this is serious work. Get reminders of that daily from the fires in California and then the other local news. And we see that we have a small class this time, and that's evident that we don't give it away, that we put people through the paces, because our job is to prepare. Our job is to make you ready for probably the minimum requirements for entry into this profession, Chief, and those in uniform out there, because once you get on the job, there's a great deal more to learn, and we know that. So that's why we take our partnership very seriously, is that preparation. We want you to be ready to hit the ground running. We want you to be able to go in and not have a question about the courage it takes to approach that flame. So thank you, graduates, for choosing Nash. Thank you to our partners who made this possible tonight, and I'm talking about those instructors who also come out and lend their time. Thank you, Chief, and Rocky Mount, to the Chief of Nashville and Chief of Rocky Mount, and the volunteer fire chiefs for recognizing our program. I'm pleased to announce that we opened up the continuing ed building a little over a year ago now, and we're getting ready to spend some more money in our POPAT field so that we can make our training even better. We have Willie, I know we got a climbing wall planned over there, right?
Yes, sir.
We've made some improvements to the burn facility, and we got some other improvements coming. I think for those that are not familiar with Nash Community College, take a look around. We're proud of our campus, we're proud of our partnerships, and we're certainly proud of our graduates. So on behalf of the Board of Trustees, the faculty and staff, and again, most importantly, the students, welcome to our campus.
Fire Chief Randy L. Goodbrod is a native of great state of Pennsylvania. He lived there until 2011, at which time he moved to Nashville, NC. When he became a fire chief of Nashville Fire Department, he has been married for 38 years to his beautiful wife, Barbara, with whom he shares 2 children and 3 grandchildren. He leads his family as a Christian man of faith and is currently serving as an elder in his church. If there's one thing that Chief Goodbrod does, that is serve. Chief has served as a volunteer firefighter from 1972 to 2011, where he has served as chief officer for 10 years, EMS director for 3 years, and a paramedic for 6 years. Chief Goodbrod's work experience began with 8 years of building construction after his graduation from his high school's building construction program. He has worked in the water-based fire protection industry for 6 years, served as a police officer for 8 years, for which he has served as fire investigator. Chief Goodbrod has served as the fire chief of Williamsport, Pennsylvania for 10 years, where he wore many hats such as fire marshal, codes administrator, and emergency manager coordinator. In all of his years of service, Chief has attained many honors, degrees, and certifications. He is an instructor emeritus of Pennsylvania State Fire Field Instructor, where he served for 32 years. He has earned his associate's degree in fire protection technology at Kearney Community College, Kearney, New York. Chief has attended numerous state and federal fire programs at the Pennsylvania State Fire Academy, New York State Fire Academy, National Fire Academy, University of Maryland Fire and Rescue Institute, and University of North Carolina, Charlotte. He has received certifications in Fire Officer 3, Fire Investigator, Fire Instructor 2, Fire Inspector 1, Driver Operator Pumps and Water Supply, and Incident Safety Officer. It is with great pleasure and enthusiasm that I present to you this great and dedicated servant, Chief Randy L. Goodbrod.
Thank you, Cadet Harrison, for that introduction. Rather lengthy. I guess that's what you get when you have somebody with 40-plus years. But anyway, I kind of missed the cue coming up here. I was trying to figure out my cell phone so I could set my timer. Sunday I did the message in church. Somebody says, it's going to be long, and I said, that's your perspective of where you're at. If you're up here, it's never long. If you're out there, it can get long. After 40 minutes, I thought I better knock it off. But guaranteed to be out of here, or I'll be done by 7. No problem. Again, thank you for the introduction. Cadets, family members, Academy staff, and guests. It's a privilege to be the speaker for this graduating class at the Nash Community College Fire Academy. I want to thank the Academy staff for the opportunity to be the speaker tonight, and I also want to commend the Academy staff on a great job they do in preparing the cadets to begin their journey as firefighters. Today is a very special day for many people in this room. Today is a celebration for everybody involved. We have the cadets who have worked hard, they have earned their achievements, and they're here tonight to be recognized. We have the families that put things to the side. They sacrificed for these individuals so that they could go through this long, grueling academy training. As we gather to honor the graduates and celebrate their accomplishments, we should ask, where do we go from here? Well, for the cadets, this is the end of the entry-level training and the beginning of a career in the oldest profession recorded that goes back, or one of the oldest professions that goes back to 115 BC. I knew I was going to say that, and I didn't want to. It's not the oldest profession, obviously, but firefighting has been around since 115 BC in Rome. Going from cadet to firefighter is a big step in your profession. Prior to this day, you had instructors who showed you, helped you, and assisted you with the many tasks that you were called upon to perform. After today, it is your own responsibility to be part of a team. And your responsibility is to be proficient in those tasks and to be part of that team. The only way this can happen is if each of you remember what you were taught, practice what you were taught, practice it again and again and again until you can't get it wrong. The drill, the training, the practice, it doesn't stop. From here on in, you will be continually involved in some type of training and drills. Over the past 40 plus years of service, I've seen many advancements in fire protection and suppression technology, building construction, building and fire codes, firefighter safety standards, and even the addition of women into the fire service. If you go back about 35 years, There were no women in this profession. So we've made a lot of accomplishments, and there's been a lot of obstacles that have been overcome. But what I want to kind of talk about tonight is, what does it take to be a firefighter other than just what you have been through? Firefighters must possess certain characteristics that the average person does not possess. Firefighters are a special breed. What I'd like to do is just look at a few of the traits that are necessary to be a good firefighter. First, you must be servant-oriented. What that means is that you're in service to another. As firefighters, we must be willing to do whatever the job takes and do whatever must be done. This can be anything from installing a smoke detector for the elderly to risking your life to save another. But you have signed up to serve in a profession that is all about service. Next is honest and trustworthy. As a firefighter, you'll be entrusted to enter a stranger's home, no questions asked. It will not matter what race, sex, political affiliation, whatever, they will welcome you into their house just because you're a firefighter. Parents will hand their children over to you to perform medical treatment without reservation just because you're a firefighter. Those who have gone before have earned that trust, and it's your responsibility to see that that trust is never broken. Another trait is dedication and pride. A firefighter must be dedicated to the profession and take pride in being a firefighter. Dedication covers many aspects of a firefighter's job. To mention a few, it's giving your best all the time, continually training, and being proactive in your education. As I stated earlier, your education and your training and drills should never stop. Another trait is team player. Firefighting is a team effort. It requires teamwork. To be a good firefighter, you need to be a team player. A sports team relies on each member to do their job to their best ability and to do it efficiently. The same is in the fire department. Each member relies on the other to do their job in a professional and safe, efficient manner. If this does not occur, the whole team will suffer, and in our business, that can result in serious consequences. The next one I want to talk about is being tolerant. We live in a culture today where, yes, we're called upon to be tolerant, but we have to look at it through a different set of eyes. Firefighters must work and live with many different personality types. 24-hour shifts can be a long time. So the long hours, the lack of sleep, lack of food is just some of the things that can cause poor working conditions and stress. This can often lead to tension in relationships within the crew. Being able to exhibit tolerance, understanding, and compassion can actually work to create a bond rather than a barrier in relationships. This special bond is why the fire service is called a brotherhood. I've often said, firefighters are ready to kill each other at the station, but are willing to die for each other on the fire ground. Tolerance will also go a long way in dealing with the public. Not all the people love firefighters, so be prepared when you encounter it. There will be times that your patience will be put to the test in those situations. And when that time comes, remember to be as tolerant as possible. Another trait and characteristic is self-sacrifice. And what that means is that you're equally concerned with the well-being of others as much as you are your own well-being. Those who possess this trait usually volunteer for worthy causes. As a firefighter, you are part of an organization whose primary mission is to serve and protect others. Those who lack this mindset are self-centered and aren't a good fit for this profession. If a firefighter isn't willing to donate his time to help others, how can he be willing to risk his life to save another? There are many other traits that are required to be a good firefighter and too numerous to cover. However, whether you realize it or not, you were being taught and evaluated for these traits throughout your training. Throughout the academy experience, your instructors were not only teaching you how to be good firefighters, They were also teaching and evaluating you to see if you have the necessary traits to become a good firefighter. And it is obvious that you have those traits or you would not be here tonight. During your academy experience, you learned just enough about the profession to be considered dangerous, without the guidance of a well-trained, well-seasoned, and very experienced firefighter. And I'm sure that through your training, you have heard that. Your life depends on your partner, and your partner's life depends on you. And over time, you will learn to become the person that will be able to mentor somebody down the road. My challenge to you is to seek out those firefighters that have the characteristics that I've presented to you tonight. The ones that have the experience, the ones that are continually training and educating, and seek them out, develop a relationship with them where they can be your mentor, and mold you into being that complete, well-accomplished, and good firefighter. I wish you well as you serve in the most trusted profession known to modern-day man, and I pray that you have a long and safe career. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Goodbrod. I'm sure a lot of that was an echo of things that you heard throughout training, and it's all very, very true. I do want to touch on something really quick. This is a small group we have today. I spent a lot of time contemplating that and trying to decide, was it a failure? Did we fail? Where did we go wrong? But I listen to what Chief Goodbrod says, and I think about it myself. Everyone that comes into this academy, we touch them in some way. Even the people that don't stay, even the people that don't finish. That's potentially a fatality that's not going to occur because they decided this wasn't for them. Or it's someone that maybe was touched in some way and realized that maybe they have a different calling, or they get themselves together and come back. And I say that on purpose because we actually have 3 individuals in the back that were in this academy, and I'm hoping that we'll see again. That would make me very happy. I'd like to start out by thanking, of course, the staff and administrators here at Nash Community College, and in particular Dr. Carver, and I'm not just saying that because he's my boss. Since I've been here, Dr. Carver has truly been a huge help in pushing for fire and rescue training, public safety training in general, especially during those times when I'm sure it's easier to put it to the side when the money gets tight. But he has always been an advocate for us, and I wanted to thank him specifically for that. I'd also like to thank all of those fire rescue departments. Many of you that are here are members at volunteer departments. Of course, Rocky Mountain, Nashville Fire Department, for all your support, and please extend that to your personnel as well. This academy at Nash Community College is among one of the most rigorous and intensive training in the fire service. These students learn the importance of instant obedience to orders, safety in an inherently unsafe career, importance of a firefighter's code of conduct, as well as the role stress plays in decision making and the safe performance of firefighters' duties. We have early mornings, usually starting out about 6:30. They're usually here before then to make sure that they're ready. And we go until the training is done. We usually anticipate that some people aren't going to be able to handle the schedule, but that is sometimes the schedule the fire department has to carry. This career, although very rewarding, is among the most physical and mentally demanding careers there are. There are stresses that you'll encounter that you just won't encounter anywhere else. This ceremony that we're having today is usually the light at the end of the tunnel for this entry-level training. And a lot of times this is one of the highlights of a firefighter's career. At this time, I'd like to call these 2 graduates. First, I'd like to call Mr. Lamonte Blue, Jr. And I do want to give a little short story about Mr. Blue. He has a nickname. His nickname is Blues Clues. And that's because Mr. Blue, unlike most students that would have a notebook or a binder or something like that, Mr. Blue carried around a small little memo pad. And he took all of his notes on this little small memo pad. Well, we've always kept note cards or tried to make note cards for coming classes, so I started looking at his little notebook and I realized that these were just a list of note cards. So we started calling them Blues Clues, and he would make them into note cards and put them in the box for future classes. He's going to be penned by his father, Mr. Lamonte Blue Sr. Next, I'd like to call Miss Catherine Harrison. Catherine's actually her middle name, but she doesn't want me to tell her first name. Quick story about Miss Harrison is this is her third academy. And she might not want me to tell that, but in my opinion, that kind of says something about her character. She actually came to see us to start with about 2 or 3 days before the academy was supposed to begin. And we gave her an application package and said, you know, you're going to be hard pressed to get this done. And she showed back up with a completed application package 2 days later. Now, for whatever reason, she didn't start that one. But either way, we were really impressed with how quickly she did that. So she said she was coming back for the second one. Actually, I ran into her brother and had a little talk with him, and I think he nudged her a little. She came back, and when she started, I could tell she wasn't in it. She started out with excuses right off the bat, trying to make up excuses on why, you know, she didn't think this was going to work this time. And it didn't. But, again, she decided that she was going to come back. She stayed in touch with us through all of this. She decided she was going to come back. And from the very first day she started this academy, she was here and she wasn't going anywhere, and there was no doubt. And like I said, I think that says a lot about her character. It's just kind of confusing. She likes to tip her toe in a little bit into the water, and instead of easing in, she just decides to go do a cannonball. She's going to be penned by her father, Mr. Ricky Manning. One last thing I'd like to add, Ms. Harrison recently accepted a position with the Rocky Mount Fire Department. I believe she is supposed to start in September, I believe. Mr. Blue was 17 when Rocky Mount was doing their last process, but I expect you'll be seeing him. And to be now 18 years old, he has matured significantly. As you can see, he's one of the two sitting here today. So I have high hopes for him. At this time, I'm going to call forward Mr. Willie Kearney, Fire and Rescue Coordinator, for the presentation of special awards.
Good evening, everybody. Now, I know I look like a preacher, so y'all can talk back to me. Good evening, everybody. It's good to see everybody. It is my great privilege right now to give these special awards. We have 3 awards that we generally give out. The first award is the academic award. Each recruit firefighter written test scores are averaged cumulatively during the recruit firefighter training program. The average is used to determine the recruit firefighter who attains the highest academic average. The recruit with the highest average receives this award at this graduation ceremony. I pause just like the commercials we do on the TV shows that we watch when you're ready for them to give you the answer, and they go right after this commercial because they want to know who won this award. Miss Catherine Harrison, come forward, please. Y'all can clap for her if you want to. Catherine had the highest grade point average in the class with an average of 83.2, and it is my honor to give her this academic award. Here you go, Catherine. Congratulations. As both our speakers have said so far today, the fire industry is a very, very dangerous place to call your profession, to say, I'm going to go to work there every day and do this job, fight fire. Go into somebody else's house, figure out what's going wrong, and try to fix it. That's not easy to do. And in this academy, we try to put as much stress on these recruits as possible so that way they can be ready when they leave to go into your house and help mitigate that situation. So we have another award called the Flame Award. And the Flame Award is awarded to the recruit firefighter who is most outstanding based upon overall accomplishments. The recruits vote for this themselves. So as you can see, only 2 recruits got to vote. This made it really, really hard for them to vote. I think we even pulled somebody from outside to say, okay, look, cast a vote just to make it fair, because if they both would have voted for themselves, then we would have had a tie. But we did not have a tie. We have one person that we're going to award this award to. The recruit who demonstrates all of these characteristics of teamwork, fellowship, enthusiasm, cooperation. This is the recruit who receives this award. And this award will go to Catherine Harrison. Catherine Harrison displayed an exceptionally high level of teamwork, fellowship, enthusiasm, and cooperation during Recruit Firefighter Training Academy 021516. I submit to you, Catherine Harrison, the Flame Award winner. Here's your plaque. But this is not the only reward she receives. Everyone who receives the Flame Award gets a special award. They get a special helmet. Everybody can see that. Because she's a girl on fire. I think this is one of the first times we've had somebody win the Flame Award and the Academic Award at the same graduation. Congratulations, Catherine. Our final special award for tonight is the Award for Instructional Excellence. This award is given to an instructor of the Academy. I like this award in particular because in the spirit of the Olympics, the coaches never get a medal. I don't know if any of you all knew that. So if your athlete gets a gold medal, the coaches don't get a medal at all. But in our academy, at least one of these instructors will get some type of award or recognition. All of our instructors do a great job. They are outstanding instructors, but only one could win this award of instructional excellence, and this award will go to Mr. John Miller. He is currently on duty tonight, serving the great city of Rocky Mount. If I could have maybe one of the representatives from Rocky Mount come forward and receive the award on behalf of John Miller, please. Y'all go ahead and clap for John so he can feel it in the spirit. Now we'll turn it back over to Director John Winstead.
Class 021516. Attend. Retire the colors. Class 021516, you're secured from training. Dismissed. We have cake and refreshments in the back. If anyone would like any, please stand around and socialize and congratulate.